Yo!
بالبام
شو ومن ديسكوتيك هذا ما هو سيف. شو
So another attack, and if we want to calculate the attacks, I mean, the Israeli media is releasing the stats. These are the stats of the attacks that Yemen conducted against Israel this month only. Wednesday, missiles, 3rd of September, 7th, drones, 8th, drones, 9th, missiles, 11th, missiles and drones, 13th, missiles, 14th, drones, 16th, missiles, 18th, drones and missiles, and 24th, a drone. And some of the, well, the last two drones that Ansarullah targeted Israel with, by the way, were successful and they landed, as in it was a severe attack by them, and there were casualties, there were people wounded as well. We're talking about a very dangerous situation, and they're not stopping. Israel clearly has no answer. Why is that? Do you know why that is? It's because Yemen is using a different tactic now. That tactic of Yemen in these attacks is basically fly. Firstly, they're modifying their drones. Secondly, they're flying very, very low. So we have a modified drones. Then they are in a very, very low height. Okay, so what is Israel doing? They are detecting some of them, despite them being very low, but their missiles aren't deployed to intercept. Why? Because under a certain level, the interception systems don't work. And as a matter of fact, when Israel tried to activate their air defense systems against low altitude drones, they ended up having more damage because the actual intercepting missile would explode. And we saw that happening several times, by the way, not just from Yemen, but with attacks from like Hezbollah and even the Palestinian resistance and Iran too. Some of them were going out and falling, being overwhelmed, the whole system's being overwhelmed. They could also be facing shortages, by the way. That's not something that we rule out. However, in one of the previous videos, when Israel was trying to intercept a Yemeni drone, they had to send their helicopters. They were starting to send helicopters as soon as it's coming close, and they're trying to shoot it down with the firepower of the Israeli helicopters. But then again, that's proving to be not effective. It's ineffective because, well, firstly, you need a lot of time to deploy a helicopter, go up and then send it to that location and then attack them. And they don't always succeed in doing that, of course. They don't always have the information. Some of these drone attacks happened without the sirens being deployed. This time there was a siren, but in previous times there were no sirens. So you'll see a drone going in, exploding, doing all of the damage, and Israel facing the consequences immediately. What does this all tell us exactly? Yemen being capable of conducting these huge attacks against Israel in, well, Yemeni produced drones, relatively very cheap to manufacture. Number one, Israel has no answer. All of these attacks that Israel is conducting against Yemen are totally, completely pointless, as in they're not doing anything. They're attacking the Udaydah port multiple times. They killed political figures who have nothing to do with armed operations that are being conducted. And many of them are not from Ansarullah, even like people to do with like transport and. But again, they wanted something symbolic. And then they have no intel whatsoever against the Yemeni armed forces. And Yemen is proving that it has the capability, the intelligence, and the equipment as well to constantly target Israel. That means Israel doesn't know where these drones are being launched from in Yemen. So all of this technology, all of these GPS and satellites, they don't know where these drones are coming from whatsoever, which is proving how effective, by the way, these attacks are against Israel, with Yemen being able to succeed in its attacks and cause Israel not only financial damage, but damage, actual damage, where they're targeting them directly. Israel has no answer, and that totally obliterates any sense of safety in general that Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to sell to the Israeli people, because he's been bragging about the fact that they have neutralized, Gaza, and they've neutralized Lebanon, and and Iran. All of that is talk.